Hello again, this is the course of computer programming, and yeah, I'm going to continue with the last section of this chapter, which is about the try-catch. So if you already know, for this chapter we learn about the file output, file input, and whenever you have the file related statements, you need to deal with the try-catch. So I would like to explain a little bit about the try-catch. Okay, and yeah, I hope that you can apply this one in your uh, future program. And let's say if you do your team project with a report like what we did in the coffee shop example, yeah, I also hope that you can apply the file. Okay. So last time, yeah, we already have this kind of conversion with the particular data type. Yeah, we can convert any format, string to integer, integer to string, and so on. So yeah, let's discuss more about the try-catch at this session. What is try-catch? Yeah, basically, it is a general term in programming languages, and many of them they have this kind of statement, and we call it this is block. Okay, we have the try block. So the try block, it contains code where something could possibly go wrong, and if it does go wrong, we throw an exception. So we want to find the something wrong. If there is something wrong, then yeah, it will go to the exception. Note catch block. Okay, so we have the try and catch. Okay, so oh, actually I need to put this one as this one try, not that block one. Okay, so try and catch. If we use the try block, it means we want to catch something. We want to get something that might go wrong. If we are doing the catch, it means when the exception thrown, catch block begin execution. So we can say that it is similar to method with parameter. So if we know what is the case, then yeah, it will give you something with regard to the parameter. And the parameter is the thrown object. Sorry. So we will learn what is the thrown object. Okay. In uh, in Java, uh, Java has predefined exception classes. So we learn a very simple exception like what you already did on the input. For example, if you do the next int, okay, you want to get integer from the user, but you type something related with the string. So for example, you do the next integer, but the input is abc. Of course, it is error. And Java has already that kind of exception classes. So those exception classes, it can be also in the try and catch. So the try and catch can capture those one. So we can place method invocation in try block, and it follows with catch block for this type of exception. So some of the classes, for example, like pet string operation exception, class not found exception, IO exception, not no such method exception, or yeah, array out of bound exception. So there are many things. So I cannot explain to you all the things. And yeah, whenever you have the errors, you might learn something from your error. And those errors actually they are the part of the exception classes. Now, so let's see this one. Okay. We already did one example with the transaction.txt. So let's try to read that one. Okay. So we have the read transaction here, read transaction 2. So let's make the read transaction 2. Okay. let's make the section 10. I will make a new class and then read transaction 2, and then let's make the main method. Okay, so I will just copy and paste. Oops. What is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, there is no package name. So you need to declare the package. Yeah, package 10. So in my case, this is the package 10. Okay. And don't forget to put the java.io.file because it is a related file, and you will use the file not found exception. And this class will use the scanner. So the main method will define the input, and the scanner input will be at first null. And yeah, in this case, you want to define something that is not access, and I would like to put the file in the try. Okay. So if you still remember when we do with this, yeah, when we do with the first example read transaction, we just put everything in the one line. So when you put everything in one line, you can just use the file not found exception. If the file is not available, or if you cannot find the file, then yes, this main method will go to this exception. Okay. But when you have this second one, the read transaction number 2, you put the input inside the try. Okay. And if this one goes error, then let's catch that one, file not exception, and then let's create a new object. So E means the new object, and then this new object will print the error message. Okay. So this is only about the finding a file. And after you have the file, let's say if there is nothing with if there's nothing wrong with the reading file, then you can continue with this one. But if there is something wrong when you read the file, then you will go here. Okay. If there is no something wrong, it will go to the next. Okay. So that's why the idea of this one, if you okay, maybe I will explain this one later. Okay. So after you have the statement correct, you want to do with looping. Okay. So this is a loop. You want to know what is the next line, and then after you have the next line, yeah, you will go to the next line and then split with the comma, and then yeah, those are the same. Okay, I guess those are the same with the remaining, and the difference is only about the throws. The first example is using throws, and the other example is using brackets. Okay, let's say if I have this one. Okay, using this one, let's say if I okay, let me just delete this. So you can see here there is an error because we are using file. Okay, because we are using file, there are two recommendations. If you put this at throws declaration, then it will automatically give you the statement throws to the file not found exception. But if you choose the second one, it means you are going to use the brackets. So this automatically will be in the statement of the try. And if you want to make it sure, yeah, of course, yeah, you can make it like this one, like the previous, like the one that you saw on the PPT. Okay. So let's see if I run this. Yeah, it can write, it can read the file milk 20 bread 50. Okay, because it refers to this transaction. Now, if for example, I will rename this one. Okay, I will rename this one to transaction 1, for example. Okay, so of course there is no transaction 1. then yeah, it goes here. Okay, so the exception name is the java.io.file not exception, and it tries to find the transaction.txt, and the error message is the system cannot find the file specified. Yeah, because I already changed the title name of the file becoming to transaction1 and so on. So the important thing is, yeah, it is null point exception, so you cannot get any values. If you cannot get any values, then of course, yeah, it will stop. Okay, let me return back. Actually I don't need to do this one, but okay, anyway, yeah, this one. Okay, so in this, yeah, section, so the loop is the same, but the only difference is how can we do the try catch. There is another concept about try catch and finally. Okay. If we have the try and catch, so whenever you have an error with one statement, you will go to the catch. Okay, let me just use this one. Okay, I will go to the my class. So I will create a new class here. My class. And let me just copy and paste. Now, in this section, let's just run this. Something went wrong. So the try catch is finished. Okay. The idea of this one is you have the try catch. Even though this one is correct, sorry, even though this one is wrong, it will go to the finally. If this one is wrong, and then you will print here, and then you will do this one. Okay. So one more time. Now let's see. I have one array, integer my numbers 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then next, what you want to do is to print the my numbers index 10. Okay, is it correct or is it wrong? Okay, actually it is wrong, because yeah, in the data we have only 3 data, 1, 2, 3. So the index will be 0, 1, and 2. But we want to get the index number 10. Of course, there is no index number 10. If there is no index number 10, then this statement is error. And we call this is the runtime error. And when we do the runtime, when we get the runtime error, you will see the error message. Usually it is in the red color, like what you already did before. Okay, let's say this one, this is the transaction, say the transaction 2. Okay, so this error message will be printed in the red color, and somehow there is a blue color. But when it goes like this one, it should be error, because I know that there will be an error. So you can just go to the catch, and then please pay attention, exception. So this exception is a very general class, and this kind of exception can be anything. And I don't know what is anything. But if it goes to this catch, you just print something went wrong, even though I don't know what is the uh, error message. If you are lucky, you will get the correct or the detailed error message, like for example, file not found exception, or array out of bound, and so on. But if you do not know what is the error, then you will just use the exception. So the exception is the top of the classes, and then whenever there is an error, yeah, you can print. So something went wrong. For example, if you want to e dot print stack trace, okay. So actually you can do this one. Oops. Okay, so I don't need this one. Yeah, you can see here. It's not possible. Oh, I don't know why. Okay. So there's something wrong. Yeah, I guess I cannot print that one. Actually, it is a throwable, okay, because it is not. Yeah, you need to print this one into the file like print stream, okay, because I'm not using the print stream, so let me just skip this one, okay. I will not explain this. So at least you know that if there is a mistake in your code, then you will do the something wrong, okay. So the something wrong will appear, and after that you will go to the finally, okay? So the try catch is finished. And yeah, you can see this one. The try catch family is something that you want to execute your program unstoppable. Okay. So it means whenever you have the error, it will keep continue. Okay, it will keep continuing the program, and it will just give you an error message like this one, something went wrong, and then yeah, you can keep continuing. So it will not stop your program. Just very good if you have your program. It is necessary to keep online or to keep on. So you do not want that the program will off. That's also one of the reasons why we learn about this chapter about file, because when you learn about file, you do not want the program stop every time you have an error. So using the try catch, you can just keep continuing the program until you press the stop button. Okay. And in addition, it could return to any possible state in accordance to your statements. So let's say you want to call a method, or you want to call another variable, or you want to call an object, okay, then it is possible. Just put on the catch. And don't forget that the finally, so the finally is something that you will print even though this one error, even though it is not error, yeah, you will just print this one. Let's see if I print one. Okay, so I will print the index 1, which is 2. Okay, this is correct, and I will print finally. Okay, either it is correct or not correct, you will go to finally. Okay, so that's the thing that we can learn from the try and catch and finally. Okay. So this chapter is about the input and output with multiple variables and data type, and the exception classes or the try catch block should be used to avoid errors due to the file unavailability. You already learned how to deal with the report. Okay, let me just read a little bit to the do this one. Oh no, sorry, we need to go to the report. Okay, now I want to review a little bit about this code. The idea of this report in the coffee shop is to put the report into a text file. Yeah, because of the time limitation, I cannot explain everything. But the file, as you might know, it is one of the class that consists of this one, null pointer exception. So if the file path is not fine, so the file path is not found, then it is null point exception. And instead of the null point exception, we can just put the file not found exception. So that's why I put these rows, because if you do the try catch, maybe it will contain several lines. So that's why I skip to use the try catch, and instead I just use the throws. So this throws actually is the same with the try catch. We want to get what is the error if I cannot find the report.txt. And this one is about the report, okay? Because of this report.txt, everything that you are going to connect from the previous Java class, it will do the file not exception. Okay. Yeah, actually you can also use one thing. Okay, this one we have the extends. Okay, you can just use the exception here, but I do not want to make a very complicated code, even though you can make everything in the general variable, but still some of them are good in the local variable or in a local method. So I don't want to put in the global because it is not necessary until now. So you can just use like the one that I mentioned. So you can just use the file not exception. Okay, and whenever you have the final file not exception, okay, it will connect to any other resources that is trying to connect to that file. So you know that the coffee shop will connect to report. Okay, then if it is a connection between those two files, you need to have one like what we call as one bridge. Okay, in the bridge you want to do something related with the frame. As you might know, the coffee shop to Java, if you already have the GUI, and then whenever you want to make a report, you will open the you will open the click button. Okay, and then in the click button, so if it is your order, then you just get everything into the GUI, and then you want to put into variable. And after you have those, if I press report, what happened? If I press report, here, there's a try and catch. Why? Yeah, because when I make a new report, when I call the object from report, it has a statement to get a file. So the Java can automatically understand that in the file report, there is a file or there is a way to connect to the file. And you need to be clear about that one by giving the trinkets. Okay, so in this case, you have the frame set visible false. What is the meaning by set visible false? So you want to just go to the background, for example, or you don't want to show the visibility, set false, because you will just hide, and then you will open the new one, which is order.send, and there are two parameters, order and frame. So order means something that you just input into the GUI, and then frame, you want to insert all the data in the GUI into the frame. So yeah, here it means we want to insert all the data into this send, and then yeah, you can see there is a file not exception E1. If the error occurs, just print the stack trace like this. Okay, and you can see that if we have this file not exception, because it is in the pattern, okay, it is in the GUI, you cannot use throws. Okay. Maybe it is available using throws, but I can say personally, don't use throws in this section because the try catch is much compact due to the nature of this button. Okay. So button, if you see here, new action listener, and then you will have a new method action perform. So it will make more complicated if okay, if you put the, for example, this one, throws. Okay, you can just throws, for example, file not found exception like this one. Then yeah, it will go to error because this action perform is something related with the how to perform some the GUI. So for example, if you click, then yeah, what you will do. If you move your mouse, then what will you do? So those kind of things are in the action perform. Yeah, I guess that's all. Okay. And everything now is okay. You can see here is also another try catch. Okay, we are making a frame of the coffee shop, and then frame will be set to true if you want to start the file at the first time. Okay, and when you have the execution, then yeah, this is related with this try catch, because we have the, yeah, sometimes we have errors and we are not sure, so you can just put this IE print stack trace in your program, for example. Okay. Yeah, I guess that also all the materials finished, and yeah, you can learn how to do the code with Java programming. And next week we will do practice. Okay, so I will give you some problems, and then let's practice together. If you want to get the problems earlier, then I will just submit the document on Monday, so you can take a look. And if you can try by yourself before the class, yeah, it's also perfect. Okay. Okay then. Thank you very much for listening. See you.